Hello, everybody. I'm Mike. He's Byron.
Correct.
We didn't review Raw because, frankly, really depressed after the Battlegrounds pay-per-view, which was really terrible, which you probably know if you listen to our review of it.
Correct.
So we decided we were going to do SmackDown because the Fashion Files, which did not actually happen. So mark that down as a slight negative. Did not actually happen, but you know what? The show was really good, so we're going to review it anyways. I'm not entirely certain if we're going to do continuous WWE coverage now, but on the bright side, that does leave room for something.
Indeed.
It leaves room for something maybe with 1 in it.
0-1?
Well, I mean, maybe, but I was referring to the G1.
Oh, well, that's even better. Gonna be 0-1. I'm gonna have to do some research. We're gonna have to track some stuff down. Mm-hmm. On the bright side, Steve Carino.
Steve Carino is always the bright side, sir.
Correct.
So, but we're doing SmackDown because it's a good show, and we're gonna do it at least until the Fashion Files are done, and then hopefully there has to be something we like that keeps us doing it.
Yeah, Raw is just too long. There's too much BS.
It's 3 hours of nothing that I'm interested in, really, on a continuous basis. I mean, there's usually something, but there is no storyline currently going on Raw that has me hooked and wanting to see stuff on a continuous basis. So until that changes, I just don't really want to watch the show. I'll watch the clips basically on YouTube and Hulu and stuff, and that's how I'll keep up to date. But
you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to watch the Wrestle Talk News with Ollie Davis because he recaps Raw in about 4 minutes, and he does a really good job of recapping stuff and highlighting things. Maybe I'm going to be interested in. So I'll see if he says anything cool, and if he says cool things, I'll check out segments of it.
I will also watch a couple of different podcasts. Watch Solid Monster on the regular. Steven Larson, of course.
I kind of stopped watching Steven Larson. They seem... I don't know how to really describe it.
Their gimmick does seem a little played out.
They seem a little self-congratulatory. Is that wrong to say?
Well, if you don't congratulate yourself, no one will.
That is true, but I don't know. It's like I like Larson. It's just I think it's probably just Steve and I can't put my finger on why. So it's kind of unfair to. It's probably something that I do that.
Which is vaguely amusing because you're kind of the Steve of this group.
I am, yeah. So it's probably something that I do that I'm guilty of doing that I don't like watching other people do, and I can't put my finger on it. So. If I'm going to judge myself in that category, I'm just probably going to, just leave it alone.
So we're going to kick it in here on SmackDown because don't have any real changes for this podcast. You got anything? Anything kind of off topic you want to get into?
I almost got broken into on Sunday.
You can relate that story if you want.
Okay. Oh, and there's an interesting anecdote to go with that.
Oh, okay.
Unrelated. So it's Sunday morning at 5:30 in the morning. That's 8:30 Mio's time, and I'm asleep on the couch because I decided I was going to watch a movie, and then decided I'm too lazy to go to actual bed. But I'm an adult, and I live by myself, so fuck it. Who cares? And so it's 5:30 in the morning, and unbeknownst to me, and cold air blasts across my freshly shaven scalp. And my brain goes, ding! You didn't leave the window open. What the fuck's going on? And I open my eyes, turn my head to look at the door, and there's somebody standing in the doorway. Mumbles something I don't understand, couldn't figure out what they were saying, and then I'm like, what? Can I borrow your phone? I'm like, no. And then they just fucked off into the night. Long story short, turns out there was some shit kids that had broken into my upstairs neighbor's place. I didn't really know what was going on. I didn't know if this was they just had the worst home sitter or the house sitters ever when they went camping. I had no idea. So, and there's not much more to tell on that score, but a couple of I went back to sleep and woke up and had a text from my mother, and I am now an uncle for the second time. My brother has, well, his wife has had the baby, but my brother now has another baby. So I'm an uncle again, and it turns out that the kid was born about the same time that the guy was breaking into my place. Apparently, the kid was born at like 5:35 in the morning, and that might actually be the exact time the dude had like opened my door. I guess I'd forgotten to lock the deadbolt, so not forgetting anymore.
Uh-huh.
So that was my wild entertainment for the weekend, because fucking Great Battleground of Fire was fucking shit.
That it was. My entertainment was slipping a disc in my back, so that's always fun. So I might be a little more grumpier than usual, so when I say that this SmackDown was good in my current state, it was really good. It's really good.
Yeah. Oh.
So, let's kick into the good stuff, and then we'll...
Kick it!
We got one... I think we have one mutual bad thing, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
State of your fucking numerical order, mate.
Yeah, we'll get to that. But let's start positive. Jericho returned, had a deal with AJ Styles, Kevin Owens. Everything here was really good. I really enjoyed it. Fantastic promo by all three men. I will have one quibble, and that is why, and this is a heel and face thing, which has always puzzled me. Why is it that the champion, like the newly crowned champion, is always puzzled and confused when the ex-champion gets a title shot, despite the fact that it's long established the champion does have a rematch clause, unless there is something specifically preventing it.
The fucking rules, ref!
So you got Owens out there looking like, no, AJ can't have it, no, what's this, you can't, rematch, But, it's like, Kevin, you got an automatic rematch after you lost your title. AJ does in fact get the same thing.
Correct.
And Jericho does in fact get the same thing. It's delayed because you hospitalized him after he took the title, but he still has it contractually.
That is correct.
So I don't like that part of it. But this was good. I mean, it set up a really good scenario. Later on, we're getting a three-way for the title, which sets up a scenario where Owens can legitimately be screwed because Jericho could pin AJ, or AJ could pin Jericho, which he brought up later on with Shane McMahon in a rather nothing promo. Probably leading to those two feuding at some point, which I'm okay with.
I am always okay with Shane McMahon having a match against anybody. It's like the highlight of the year almost, because that guy always has a great goddamn match.
I particularly enjoyed Jericho saying, "Guy, AJ, you're trying to cut in front of me in line. You know, a guy did that at the grocery store the other day, and you know what happened to him? What, you put him on the list? No, I punched him in the face and put him on the walls of Jericho in aisle 7 in front of the canned corn." But then he put AJ on the list, and this was all good. You have anything else you want to add?
No, I marked out huge as soon as Jericho's music hit. I was just basically bouncing in my seat, going, "It's your boy Jericho!" And freaking out a little bit. He has possibly the greatest intro music ever, just because of the impact, just the initial impact. Just boom, break the walls down, and you just get hyped. You have no choice unless you're a complete hater.
Pretty much. At no point have I not marked out to Chris Jericho's music. I'm not entirely sure if there's anyone else that can say that. I'm not sure if that's like necessarily the music or just my love of Chris Jericho, but it would speak to possibly laying credence to your hypothesis.
I say rather.
Next up on the good thing, we had Shinsuke Nakamura versus Baron Corbin. Take us away, Mr. Byron, because I kind of hogged the first one.
Did you say Nakaverse? Because Nakamura. I'm in favor of an entire Nakaverse.
I am in favor of this, but I said Nakamura.
Indeed. It was just it was a really good match. This was the match they should have had at the goddamn pay-per-view. So what the hell was the problem? And you probably hear us say that a lot. My pet theory is that Vince was on hand at the pay-per-view to just fuck everything up. So that's probably where that's going to. Other than that, yeah, it was a good match. Shinsuke is still throwing like 1/4 speed kicks, which, I mean, if you don't want to throw...
A couple were half speed, I think. Yeah, there were a couple of semi-stiff ones thrown in there just for good measure, yeah. But...
And I'm not looking for super stiff. I'm just looking for convincing. I'm looking for not WWE strikes, because they're always garbage. And I'm not in favor of Nakamura garbaging up his style to please fucking Vince. But,
it always needed to be toned down just a tad for safety, but make it safe, and then you're fine. You don't need to go, like you said while we were watching this, they're like 1/8 speed kicks, and like, that's not as slow as you got to make them safe.
Yeah, so it's, I'm not in favor of that. But that's really my only complaint about the match. If you've got some kicks to throw, maybe throw them to the body and make them harder. Therefore, you can get away and you still look like you're a kicking machine. That might be a good idea, but Nakamura's not going to take advice from me, so just kind of spitballing here.
Yep. I had one gripe on it, is early on in the match they were doing kind of like a boxer versus martial artist type deal, where Corbin's got his hands up as a boxer, but then when he throws his punches, they're the sloppiest motherfuckers on the planet.
Yeah, I thought what happened to Captain Golden
Gloves? Keep making a big deal about this boxing background he has, which is legit. Can he throw proper punches? I assure you, Nakamura can work with a proper punch.
Oh, yes.
So, that wasn't so good, but I like this match because it felt like it was evolving. A lot of the matches that they've been having here there's no sense of evolution. It's the same match over and over again with maybe a slightly different finish. This one had, like, it went back to the well of things again. Like, for example, Corbin did his around the ring post thing twice, but the first time he got caught. The second time he got caught the same way, but reversed it and hit, I think,
Deep Six or whatever.
No, Deep Six. Yeah, he hit Deep Six off of it. So, like, that's what I mean. It's like stepping up, putting an extra step onto everything, and they kind of did the same thing with also Baron ripping off Nakamura's knees offense, which was very interesting.
Yeah, I liked it, and it kind of got me interested in what if they're trying to do. What if they're trying to show an evolution of Baron Corbin? I'd be fine with it. I would like to see him work with people like Nakamura and other people that have a track record and show that he is, like, you can put him up against him and he might not win the first time, and maybe he might not even win the second time, which is probably not how you want to book your Money in the Bank guy. But
no, they've done worse to Money in the Bank guys, let's be real.
Not my fault you don't know what you're doing when you're booking the rookie to hold the Money in the Bank title. But I would like to see that. I would like to see an evolution. Like, maybe he doesn't win the first or second time, but he's like, book his story arc as if you would book a face, but he's still got to be a heel. So he's still just a dick. Yeah, he learns to overcome, which is something they can't. It's impossible to do in the WWE these days. Otherwise, Roman Reigns would be a huge star. Well, I guess he is a star, but not for the fucking reason they want. So that's how I would proceed with that, and I liked the match. And I could do with more, but I would like Nakamura to be unleashed a bit.
They gave Nakamura the win. They gave him a hell of a knee to the back of the head and then a Kinshasa. This was good. This was really good. Why was this not on the pay-per-view? Not going to be the first time we say that tonight.
Unclear.
Then we had Jinder Mahal come out to do his promo. This is on the good list. However, I'm going to say this. The Jinder Mahal was putting me to sleep. It's not Jinder's fault, per se. Not to say there's no culpability there, but it's the fact that his promos are pretty much the same promo, slightly reworded repetitively. There's no notable variance in them. It's like you were saying, Vince wrote him one promo, and they've been trying to cannibalize that repetitively.
Yeah, it's really weird.
So that was not good.
I know that he did an interview, and he was trying to do the Man of Peace, but I'm a warrior, dumb shit gimmick, and it wasn't getting over. And so Vince changed up how he wanted him to, he wrote him a different kind of promo style and a different way to approach his character and this, that, and the other. And I assume that only happened one time because he's been doing the exact same thing since then.
Pretty much. That's kind of the problem. But John Cena came out, and he saved this.
Mm-hmm.
Really.
John Cena, I'm going to take your title, hit the trumpets.
That's how he finished it up. But you know what? He also played up that Jinder is the champ, which is something that's been kind of ignored. Like that's been part of the problem with Jinder as champ, is that no one outside of the Singh brothers have treated him as champ. Well, maybe Mojo Rawley did when he lost to Jinder and talked about how he was in there with the champ and that was a great experience and so on.
Well, they have, like, Randy Orton's cut promos where, like, hey, he's a great guy. It's not that he's a bad wrestler. It's not that he's a bad person. It's just that he's an asshole. And he's never once ever said anything about how he doesn't deserve to be a champion or put him down. It's just that the announcers don't seem to think of him as championship material, or maybe Vince is telling him not.
It's mostly the announcers when I say this, but even Orton, if you take Orton's promos when he faced off with Batista, for example, or even Triple H, there was a hint of I'm trying to think of the right word here. Not fear. That's too far. Trepidation, yes. That he could lose. Whereas there really hasn't ever been that with Jinder. And I get that, Orton's got to be confident and so on, but Orton has never been this confident with any other opponent. And that's kind of why it hasn't really been sold that Jinder is, the champ, a top guy. And also how the announcers have handled it has not been good.
Indeed.
But John Cena kind of put him over here. You are the champ. Doesn't matter if we like it or not. You are the champ. That being said, I'm Big Match Young. I'm coming for that title. 17-time champion.
Correct.
See, and Cena can do that because Cena's had like that indelible confidence in every feud he's ever been in that he's going to win. Orton hasn't. So when Orton suddenly has it, it undersells the champion.
Yeah, because Orton's usually asleep and nobody can wake him up, and they're still trying to have a feud, which is weird.
Yeah. So this is better. I think it probably leads. You know what? If Cena actually jobs out to now, mind you, I'm hoping that Cena doesn't end up facing off with Jinder. We're going to talk about that last bit, but I'm just saying under the hypothetical, if Cena were to job at SummerSlam to Jinder, that might actually start to turn this around a little bit.
This is possible.
Not that I'm ever going to remember like Jinder Mahal's title reign fondly. He's not a very good wrestler, so I'm not getting very good matches. And anytime that's the case, I'm not really down for it. And his character is a little too one note. But we could potentially get it out of the doghouse of worst champion ever.
Yeah. Do you not enjoy him speaking to his people in that language?
I would keep that because I mean, this is a marketing ploy. Like, I kind of actually liked it when he was talking with the Punjabi announcers at Battleground. That was kind of neat. He showed a little personality, did some things, so I was kind of down with that. He had someone to play off of, but yeah, just having him shout a pre-rehearsed speech in Punjabi it's not great.
No, especially because, as I understand it, he doesn't actually speak the language. So
he does, but I was talking to a friend of mine who does speak Punjabi and said it's a little rough.
Yeah,
at times, like it's clear that he's not a native Punjabi speaker, or it might be his first language even, but that he's primarily an English speaker, and he's kind of having to a degree, relearn Punjabi a little bit.
Yeah.
And that's kind of handicapping it. It's not like when Daivari was speaking Farsi, for example. Like, he was entirely fluent. But then Daniel Bryan comes out, and says John's not getting the SummerSlam title shot. He's instead going to face off with Shinsuke Nakamura.
Fuck yeah.
Next week.
Fuck yeah.
For the number 1 contendership.
Double fuck yeah.
And if Cena can put over Nakamura, oh yeah. It's not the dream match that I think some people are. It's not the dream match that they're going to build it up to, because I don't think this is going to be a fantastic match. I think it will be good, but I've never really thought Cena versus Nakamura is going to be like 5 stars or something.
You're not wrong on that score. I don't know exactly how they're going to do it. I would prefer
a John Cena dream match with New Japan. It's frankly with Tanahashi. That would be fantastic.
Yeah, that would be fantastic. But I would be in favor of them putting Nakamura over. I would be in favor of them just putting the belt on Nakamura. I mean, the problem is that now they've got the Great Khali involved, and there's the Singh brothers, and.
Yes, please. They were kind of hinting at it when Khali was holding the belt at Battleground. No. Yeah, God, no.
They may want him to do a couple of matches, but
I'm not interested.
No one's interested. God damn it.
I don't even know if he's interested. He can barely move.
Yeah, exactly. But apparently they've interviewed him, or he's done an interview, and he said something like, "Oh, I was there to help, and if he needs me to help again, I will." Stuff like that. But I don't know. But they've made this such a huge circus that I don't see how they can logically take the title off Jinder.
I think you can at SummerSlam. It's a big enough pay-per-view.
Yeah, but if you got like a 7-foot-tall dude, 2 little rat bastards scurrying around, and your opponent, and you're not John Cena, so nobody believes that you're Superman enough to do it, I don't see how they could put. I don't see what much or how well Nakamura would get over. But I can't conceive of any reason to keep the title on Jinder.
I can't really. Honestly, I've never really been able to conceive of a reason to put it on him. Again, the underlying suspicion of it's a Indian marketing ploy. It doesn't really work, because if you're trying to sell network subscriptions, yes, there is 1.3 billion or whatever people in India. I get that. However, if one looks at like internet percentages and how many people have like the money to basically order order the network and has the internet to run it and so on, it's a hell of a lot less than 1.3 billion.
It's like 2 people.
It's more than that, but
3.5 people.
Like it's just I would like to see the numbers that suggest this has actually worked to boost Indian revenue. If you can show me that we're making like a couple $1 million more, totally worth it. But I don't think that the financial gain is it up. I haven't seen it, so I don't know. But I have doubts.
I would follow up those doubts with severe concerns.
And we got a Daniel Bryan return, so that's always good. Moving on, I enjoyed Sami Zayn and Dillinger versus Kanellis in English. I'm sure you did as well.
It was brief. It was to the point. There was no issues. I didn't have any problems. There's nothing really to be angry about.
Looked like there was a little miscommunication between Sami Zayn and English on one spot, but I'm fine with it. You're allowed one of those in a match.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was short to the point. It didn't make Kanellis look like he couldn't wrestle, which has been really my kind of big problem with this whole storyline with Sami Zayn and Kanellis. These two guys can have great matches. You're not letting them. Not only are you not letting them, you're also making it seem like Kanellis can't wrestle. Like, even the heel announcer is basically saying he can't wrestle. It's like, he was the manager at Hallmark, and he met Maria, and they got married. So we're going to ignore that he was like a pretty decorated wrestler. Okay.
Yeah.
So, still not loving the Kanellis angle, but this match was good.
Yeah, I mean, they could be a really good heel duo, but they're doing it wrong, which is typical WWE.
Yep. sign a guy to keep him away from the competition. And I'm like, at this point, GFW is not even competition, so I just don't get it.
I think it's just to fuck with, what's his name? Jarrett.
Yeah, it's true. Vince don't like Jeff. Jeff Jarrett is one of the few men who have in the wrestling business who have ever gotten the leg up on Vince McMahon.
Yeah.
Then we had the United States 3. This was fantastic. And continuing with the theme of the night is, why did we not get this at the pay-per-view? I understand the pay-per-view was a 1v1 match with Styles and Owens, but this was 100 times better than that match, and not just because Jericho is in it.
I don't know.
So
Jericho is pretty good.
We don't usually get into spots, but I'm going to throw out a couple spots here. I like the Lion Salt to break up the submission because the Lion Salt was really good. I thought it was a bit overkill for a submission breakup, but I'll take it.
Yeah.
I really also enjoyed Jericho going for the walls of Jericho on Owens and then turning that into a code breaker on AJ. Sweet. Yes. Vintage Jericho. And Jericho looks lighter, slimmer, and it looks like it's done something for his ring shape because he's looked a little quicker.
Hashtag DDP yoga.
And CrossFit.
Oh, yeah, apparently.
Well, he's always been a pretty big proponent of CrossFit.
Even though it's horrible for you.
In the end, you know what? I like the ending because Kevin Owens has been this delusional, people are out to get me heel. And, we got a payoff on that.
Yes.
We got Owens hitting a pop-up powerbomb on Jericho and a bullfrog splash. But AJ hucks him out of the ring and pins Jericho to win the title. So Owens is legitimately screwed. Legitimately has a reason to be pissed. And this feud actually evolves somewhat.
Holy crap, it's like somebody has an idea for a storyline. Wow.
Story progression. Wow. Holy shit.
Much wow. Oh my god.
So, really good. That's all the good stuff we have. Let's talk about the bad real quick. And I do mean real quick, because this is not going to take very long. The Usos jumped the New Day when the New Day was doing their celebration. Before it started.
And the Usos can't even do that right.
I think they did it right. It's just you had two guys jump your three-man Freebird Tag Team Champions.
Yeah.
Why do I feel bad for the New Day getting jumped here? Why? They had the numerical advantage when they got jumped and got destroyed. Got no offense, really. Outside of a couple of punches from Big E. So, not good. Like, the heels jumping the faces, time-honored tradition, everything. Yeah, agreed. However, doesn't really work when you have a Freebird tag team. Because they should win that.
Yes, every single goddamn time, without fail.
Also, the camera guys kind of fucked it up.
Also true.
Other than that, we got a Naomi promo, which I have nothing to say about, really. That we haven't already said.
Yeah, she's not over. Stop trying. Please, please, please stop trying.
There are people who argue she is over. I'm just going to leave it at that. I don't enjoy what she's doing, and I'm not hearing the crowd pops that people keep claiming there is.
Yeah, if they're there, the WWE is intentionally sandbagging the pops, which doesn't make any sense.
Also, again, only face champion. Her pops need to be huge.
Yeah.
We had Charlotte and Becky versus Lana and Tamina, which was going to be a good up until the ending, because the ending was it was bad enough that I couldn't give this a good.
Yeah, it was just kind of lame duck stuff. It was not what I'm in favor of. They let Lana wrestle. That's a plus.
Except at the end when they made her clumsy, uncoordinated, and having no idea what she's doing again.
Yeah, it's like she's got like a brain worm or something, and it just rears its ugly head when she's trying to wrestle. It's an intriguing storyline, but you're doing it wrong.
Yeah, they did it at the end. They did it earlier in the match when she was caught in the disarmor by Becky. I can get behind that though, because that's your arm about to be snapped. I'm fine with that. But like that's panic with pain. But like at the end of the match, she tags in on Tamina and then just goes retard. And it's like, not really down with this.
No.
So there's that. And Owens and Shane had a backstage thing, which we just touched on. And Nakamura gave us a promo, which was fine.
I like that they're keeping his promo short. I think it's good.
It's a good plan, but it's not going to get me, like, super psyched. Although, the one with AJ actually did, so if you do it right, I will. But yeah, having him just say, John Cena can't see me was fine. It's not bad, but I'm not putting it on the good.
Fine, be that way.
So that was it. Just going to touch on some Raw stuff real quick. The Enzo and Cass thing is going so nowhere, so very fast. And I don't really understand why they split that tag team up.
Doesn't make any sense.
I was like, to be clear, I've said this kind of repetitively, I can dig a breakup angle of that tag team. But it has to be worth it.
Yeah.
And it hasn't remotely been worth it. We're not going to get good matches. And that's not even me saying WWE screwing up their matches. You're not going to get it. Like, Enzo is not a great worker. Borderline dangerous to himself at times. And Cass is perfectly acceptable for a big man, but he's not a great worker either. And you're not going to get great matches, and the storyline has become a repetitive, like, I could throw the storyline in a toilet bowl and get the same thing.
Yep, pretty much. I didn't watch any of Raw, but I did hear about what they had booked, and it's done wrong again. So I don't know what else. There's nothing else we can say that hasn't been said already. It's just if they're doing it wrong. Wrong.
Repetitively wrong.
Yep.
So not really keen on that. And that's just kind of Raw in a nutshell. Everything seems to be wrong. From Roman Reigns to Braun Strowman to Cass and Enzo to what would you say is like the lowest down feud on Raw?
Anything in the female division?
Well, yeah, the female division, just period. Elias Sampson and Finn Balor.
Oh yeah, why don't we just waste our future? Like, again, you could have Nakamura as your champion, and you could be making shitloads of money. You could have Finn Balor as your champion, and you could be making shitloads of money. Nope, no thanks. We just won't.
Well, you got Lesnar as your champion, and that does have a proven financial benefit. So I'm okay with that, but you should be keeping Balor strong as a kind of successor. And you're not.
Let's probably not job out the future super. Well, I mean, hey, if you keep jobbing him out, he won't be a future superstar. So don't worry about that on that score. But why? I mean, you threw away all of the good things Punk ever did. You threw away all of the good things Zack Ryder ever did.
Kind of the weird thing is those two got over on their own, like against the machine, whereas Balor's had the machine somewhat behind him, and they just decided they're not doing it anymore.
He was really popular, and then they decided to put the machine behind him, and then they just kind of, I mean, that was Tuesday, this is Thursday now, I guess, we're not doing that. Vince didn't tell me I needed to, so I'm not doing it.
Yeah, it's just a bit weird. So Raw's a mess, SmackDown was a mess up until this week, where it delivered. So keep doing that, SmackDown, and Raw take notes.
Yeah, exactly. We tuned in specifically because we needed to see the fashion files. There were no fashion files, and we're not even mad.
Yeah, not even mad about it.
That's how good the show was. So, it wasn't until the end we're like, oh, no fashion files. Oh, well, wow. Everything else was great.
All I could say is that Muldango is probably being raped as we speak, anally probed repetitively.
He's probably you know what? Knowing him, probably just getting massage.
I don't know, sir. The anal probe 5000 might be doing its work.
He was very attractive, and I don't know if anybody would really go and do something so horrible to him.
And Agent Breezy is probably still in the hospital. I don't know.
Maybe in a coma.
In a coma.
What do you know? What did you see?
I saw stick people.
Yeah.
Let's just go through the possible suspects on that, I guess, because we didn't get an answer this week.
We did not.
So there are two prominent thoughts on the matter. Number one is that it's Harper and Rowan have reformed as a tag team, and this is how they're going to bring them back.
Yeah.
And number two is that it's Rick Moss and Tita Sabatelli from NXT.
Why?
The thought there is that they were doing live shows recently, and they've been removed from the NXT roster page. To be clear, that could mean that they've just been cut.
I would be more in favor of them just being cut.
I think there's some promise in both of them, especially Tito.
Yeah. I mean, you and I had this discussion a while ago about when do you draw the line and cut a guy. I was one of those guys, one of those dudes that's been in developmental for like 7 years.
Let me have a look, because I think there might have been different people we were talking about.
I'm probably sure that you're correct, but at some
Tito
point...
Sabatelli, former NFL safety, currently signed to the developmental territory. Last played in the NFL in 2011. He's been here for 3 years. And they've recently... This tag team only started up in 2016, October.
Okay, so they've been on TV like twice?
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, let's promote them to the main roster.
It seems weird, but it seems weird that they've been cut because they were really... Apparently, WWE was really starting to get high on them for their TV match, or their live show matches. Like, they were apparently really turning a corner. So it seems odd that they would have been cut. Seems odd they would be brought up, so I'm in favor of the Harper Rowan idea. Would be my bet.
There's my personal fantasy booking would be that it was either the New Day the whole time, or it was the club the whole time, because I would like to see a vignette off between the club and the Fashion Police.
Unlikely, although to address it, something had to have come back over for the Jason Jordan deal. Wouldn't that have been?
That's the other thing. So who hasn't been on Raw in a while?
There's a couple of people that come to mind, but no tag teams.
Yeah, so I don't know.
So yeah, not really sure. Hopefully we'll get an answer for that soon, or not. Like, if SmackDown could be this good without giving me the answer, I'm fine. But if SmackDown starts getting shit again and doesn't give me the answer, it could be an angry hombre.
Yeah, I'm totally fine with. Hey, you know what? If it keeps him on TV, I'm fine with never having an answer. I'm cool with that. Just keep putting him on TV, and it'll be, it'll be like the real X-Files, where we just never find an answer.
We'll just move on to a different story, though.
Yeah, well, I'm fine with it.
Like random graffiti in the locker room. Must find out.
Exactly. Dun, dun, dun.
Or, Jericho's list can get stolen. I've called you guys in because you're the best investigators in the business. I need you to find the list of Jericho.
Yes! I'm in favor of these things.
And Ty Dillinger can have them try and find his perfect 10 bag.
Deputy Dillinger on the case.
So, yeah, there's a lot of ways that can go. I will say, I saw one match with Moss and Sabatelli against TM61. Is that the Mighty Guys?
Yeah, the Mighty Guys.
And it was pretty good. And it wasn't just because TM knows what they're doing. It was also that
that's good.
These guys seemed very athletic, and it seemed like they were learning to do things well.
That's encouraging.
And again, and to be clear, Sabatelli is a former NFL player, and not in the sense that Baron Corbin and Mojo Rawley are. Like, he has, if you were to look up on NFL.com or something, there are actual stats for him. Like, he has played in 32, 47, 50, 60, 66 actual professional football games.
Right, I remember looking him up before. He's legit got money, doesn't need to be a wrestler, and wants to be a wrestler.
That's kind of what I mean. Is a guy like that's got to be good.
Yeah.
Like it's just otherwise why do it?
Yeah.
So mostly a special teams guy in his NFL career to be, Oh no, wait, never mind. Hang on, solo tackles. No, he appears to have been a starter in Tampa Bay.
Special.
2009, he had 66 tackles for a safety, that's starter numbers.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, like I said, this guy would be like more of a legitimate like D'Angelo. Oh, damn it, what's his name? He was in Impact recently. Running back, Carolina Panthers. Fuck, why can't I remember his last name?
Francisco.
It's the one that they were all raving about, like as a natural for wrestling.
Oh, I don't know.
D'Angelo Williams, that's the guy. I think.
Oh, the guy with the fucking botch at the end of the match? That was hilarious.
Yeah, but it would be more akin to D'Angelo Williams than we must hype the brief experience on a practice roster of Baron Corbin.
Correct.
So, I can't imagine that they let that guy go, and his removal from the website, I think, suggests that I think there's a strong possibility it's Sabatelli and Moss.
Yeah, that's
that
true.
Being said, I'm going to bet on Harper Rowan.
Yeah, they've cut legit superstars before, so I'm going to not bet on him.
That's all I got. Anything you want to top us off with?
Nope, that's I think I said all there is today.
R.I.P. Daryl, and get off of Byron's lawn.
You leave Daryl out of this, you son of a bitch.
Whoa. You don't want to give a tribute to Daryl?
Son of a bitch, how dare you? He's alive!
Bad Luck Fale would beg to differ.
Bad Luck Fale, son of a bitch!
Bad Luck Fale is a murderer!
I will have your head on a pole, sir.